her work after completing the merchant jewelry. But the merchant was so rich. I finished the rich merchant's orders. They had a wedding coming and they wouldn't wait. You know how impatient rich men are. So, here, just because of the impatience, the rich man was so angry. Actually, there was a marriage is going to be held in his house, so he required this jewelry very urgently. So, I had to remain myself on making the jewelry for the wedding. So that's why I was making some excuses. I don't want to make upset this girl that period of time, so I just making some excuses to come some later time, because I was so busy doing this work. And if I couldn't complete this work at the time, the rich man would scold me so badly, and I don't want to be get scolded. Who is the rich merchant who kept you from finishing the poor woman's jewelry? Who kept you finishing the poor man's jewelry? Who was this person? Who was that person? Tell me. Made her walk up and down, which distressed the bricklayers, which made a mess of his wall, which has now fallen on the innocent man and killed him. Can you name him? So the king was so desperately asking that who was this person, who was this merchant who was forcing you, putting pressure on you to make his own jewelry, not his girl, not that girl. So just tell me. And who's that person? Due to his mistake, you were so hurry, you were so busy, and the girl was moving round and round, and that's why the girl was distracting this bricklayer, and the bricklayer couldn't make his concentration on his work, and for due to this reason the fall has fallen on a innocent man and killed him. Can you name him? Just give me the name. Who was that merchant? The goldsmith named the merchant, and he was none other than the original owner of the house whose wall had fallen. Now the story had taken the new twist, that the story had come after taking a U-turn and reached at the same merchant. That who was that merchant whose in his house, in whose house the marriage was going on? That he took the name of the same merchant who was standing in the premises of court, and that the same merchant whose wall had taken the life of an innocent man. Innocent means the burglar, the thief. Now justice had come full circle, and now finally the truth has come, the justice has come into the full circle. Thought the king back to the merchant when he was rudely summoned back to the court. He arrived crying, it was not me, but my father who ordered the jewelry. He is dead, I am innocent. But this time the summons was again sent to the merchant, and he was coming by crying brutally. He was pleading, he was requesting, and he was saying that it is not my fault. Actually, the jewelry order was given by my father. So his father, this is my father's fault, not my fault, and he is dead. I am innocent. Please leave me. But the king consulted his minister and ruled decisively. And the king was now, after having discussion with his minister, the king came on this decision that it's true, your father is the true murderer. He is dead. Yes, it is true that your father is a murderer. It's also and he is dead. But somebody must be punished in his place. This was the order of king, that somebody had to die, or had to be dead because of his desire. This is the desire of the king, that he had to give some punishment to somebody else. In his place, you have inherited everything from the criminal father of yours, his riches as well as his sin. Now here, inherited means a kind of a legacy. Now, after the death of your father, you got all his empire, all his business, all his money places, land, everything you got, and you are because of inherited of him. You got his riches. Riches means all the prosperity, all the happiness, all the property, everything you have taken, and also you have taken his all sins. As your father was a murderer, so you got his all riches as well as his sin. Sin means, my dear, if somebody did some wrong work, it is known as sin. In terms of religion or religious way, it is known as sin, a pap, and that you have to be punished. I knew at once, even when I first set eyes on you, that you were at the roots of this horrible crime. You must die. And when I first time observed you, that time you were also in the root of the crime. And now, finally, after doing so expenditure, after doing so discovery, finding the proof, now finally you are being caught again, that you are the culprit, you are the main person who is behind this murder. And you must die. And he ordered a new stake to be made ready for the executions. Now here the king gave an order to make a such type of platform, a platform of capital punishment. Capital punishment means, the meaning of the capital punishment means that a person is to be hanged on a rope through his neck, and he should be hanged till his death. So such type of order was given to for this merchant. As the servants the stakes and got it, found or made the stake and got it ready for the final impaling of the criminal. And now finally checking, after doing the inspection of the rope, and the whole construction is proper ready. So it is waiting for the impaling means hanging the body, hanging the person who is a criminal. Every setup is ready for this death. He- Sorry. It occurred to the minister that the rich merchant was somehow too thin to be properly executed on the sea. On the stake, he appealed to the king common sense. The king too worried about it. Now here what happened, as he was taken to the main platform, and when the rope, when the stake means phansi ka fanda, when the stake was covered or put on his neck, it was not coming properly, because his body was so thin, he was so weak. That's why it was not coming proper on his neck. And he told the minister told to the king about this scene, and the king was too worried about it. What shall we do? He said, when suddenly it struck him that all they needed to do was to find a man fat enough to fit the stake. Now, the king desire was to kill someone else. The king order was to give some capital punishment to anybody, because this is he desperately wanted. He was looking forward to see a death given by his own order. So he had ordered his messenger to find a person who is totally fit for this stake. Find out a person who is so fatty and he could be adjusted in this stake. So I hope students who are imagining that who could be a person who is so fatty. And their eyes fell on the disciple who had fattened himself for months on bananas and rice and wheat and tea. And finally the messengers, the army of the king, found a person who is too much fatty, who is suffering from obesity, who had overeating every time. What he was eating, banana, ghee, wheat, rice, he has been eating too much by a long period of time, a long period of a time period. What have I done wrong? I am innocent. I am a sannyasi, he cried. The disciple was asking that what I have done something wrong. I am so innocent person. I am also a sannyasi, a saint. I am a saint type of person. So why you people are behaving me so rude? That may be true, but it's the royal decree. Decree means the decision that we should find a man fat enough to fit the stake, they said, and carried him to the place for executions. Now here, the army people told him that yes, you there is no any fault, but we all are following the footsteps of our king, that we are following the order of which is given by their king, that they have to find out a very such person who is so fatty, who is too fit for this executions. He remembered his wise guru words. Now very important line. So in this period of time he started remembering that his guru words, that his guru warned him earlier. This is a city of fools. You don't know what they will do next. While he was waiting for death, he prayed to his Guru in his heart, asking him to hear his cry wherever he was. The Guru saw everything in his vision. Now, while he was taking to the stay, to taking to this capital punishment near this for the executions, what happened? He was started remembering the Guru words, and he was trying to pray for just save his life, because he was regretting that my Guru was saying right, and he was saying that where he was saying in his heart, please help me, my Guru. I'm stuck in some problem. You are right that this city is full of food. And the Guru was so extraordinary person. He was a so extraordinary saint. He could see the vision. He could see the future. He had magic power. He could see the far, and he could see the future, and he could see the present and the past. He arrived at once to save his disciple, who had got himself into such a scrap through love for food. Now here, now finally, what we have observed, that the Guru was so extraordinary person. He was a magicful person who could see the far, what's going too much far, and he could see the future. He could see the present as well as he could see the past. So he is so extraordinary, so miracle type of person, and he found and saved his disciple, and he found that this just due to his love for the food. Love is not appropriate word. The lust for food, the hunger for food, the desire for food, eating too much had taken him into this trap and in this problem. As soon as he arrived, he scolded the disciple and told him something in his whisper. Now, once the Guru arrived at this scene, and he just started scolding to his disciple and said something in a very low pitched tone in the ear of his disciple. Then he went to the king and addressed him, O wisest of kings, who is greater, the Guru or the disciple? Now, finally, he came to the king while doing some buttering words, that my Guru, you are the highness, you are the most strongest person on the earth. Now tell me, who is, yes, who is greater, the God or the disciple? Sorry, the Guru or the disciple? Of course, the Guru, no doubt about it. Why do you ask? Now, yes, of course, Guru is more greater. But why are you asking me, the old saint? Why are you asking me? Then put me to the stake first. Put my disciple to death after me. Now, if the Guru is greater, then just put me at the stake and give me this capital punishment. After me, then give it to my disciple. But first, give me this punishment to me. When the disciple heard this, he understood and began to clamor, demanding And when the disciple heard all about this incident, that the guru was asking for giving him death first, and he also demanded, no, me first. The disciple was saying, no, give me this punishment to me. You brought me here first, put me to death first, not him. So the disciple was saying, no, no, as you brought me here, you took me here, so I am the person who is liable for this punishment, and give it to me, not him, not my guru. The guru and the disciple now got into a fight about who should go first. The king was puzzled by the behavior. He asked the guru, why do you want to die? We choose him because we needed a fat man for the stake. So while while they were trying to convert or convince that let him first to be hanged in the stake, all were that these two disciple and the guru were trying to fight with each other, and the quarrel was taking a very hot or very high. Now the finally the king entered in this fight and asked that why do you want to get die, as we are killing him just because of we are finding a person who is totally fit for this stake, that's why we are killing him, and why you want to get killed yourself. What was the reply of the guru? You shouldn't ask me such questions, put me to death first, replied the guru. No, 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 you don't ask me, you shouldn't ask me such type of question. Just your work is just kill me, and I want to be killed. Why? There is some mystery here. As a wise man, you must make me understand. So there is something mystery, there is something to be hidden. So just you are a wise man, just tell me why you want to get die. Mystery means Raj. Will you promise to put me to death if I tell you? The guru told that just make me a promise. If I will tell you the real reason why I want to get die, so you have to put me on the stake. You have to give me first punishment. Asked the guru. The king gave him his Solomon words, my dear, the serious word, his real verdict. The guru took him aside out of the servants' airshots means out of the servants' reaches, and whispered to him. And the guru speak little bit in his ear. Do you know why we want to die right now? The two of us, we have been all over the world, but we have ever never found a city like this or a king like you. The stake is the stake of the God of justice. It's new. It has never had a criminal on it. Now here, there is a reason why I want to get die, because as we are so experienced people, we have seen the most part of this earth, and this city is so nice, and this is the stake. It's not a stake, it's a stake of God for the justice, and the God will do justice for us. And we have been all know why we want to die right now. The two of us, we have been over the world, but we have never found a city like this or king like you. The stake is a stake of God justice. It's new. It has never had a criminal on it. And on this stake, there ever never got a criminal on him. On this stake, every loyal person took an advantage to come on the stake and to get to the die and to go to the God. Whoever dies on it first will be reborn as the king of the country. And if anybody who will get first die by this stake, who will get capital punishment at first time or at first place, he will after death, when he will get reborn, he will be a king of the same city, of the same kingdom. And whoever goes next will be the future minister of this country, and who will come at next, the second number, and he will become the minister of this same country. We are sick of our ascetic life. Ascetic life means the holy life, a life of saint who is just wandering here and there for the summon, for the wandering, for the food, for the lecture, for different purpose. They wander here and there, as they have a very sympathy towards their religion. So they take a round to the whole holy places in this country. So they told to the king that they are sick of, they got fed up from their life, and now they wanted something new in their life. It would be nice to enjoy ourselves as a king and minister for a while. Now keep your word, my lord, and put us to death. Me first, remember. And now that's why we want to get died and want to have a very luxurious life in future. So as just stay on your words, as you have made promise with me, that if I tell you the story, if I tell you the fact, the reason why I want to get so impatient to get die, due to this, now complete your words. Just hang me first, and then after you can hang anybody else, I don't care. The king was now thrown into a deep thoughts. Now the king got shocked, and now he just thinking so deeply. He didn't want to lose his kingdom to someone else in the next round of his life. So the king do not want to leave his kingdom in the next term, when he get rebirth, and in the same time he want this kingdom as now as in future as well as. So he don't want to leave this kingdom. He needed this. He needed time. So he ordered the executions postponed to the next day and talked in a secret with his minister. So what he did, it takes him little bit time. So what he did, he just postponed the capital punishment, the executions on the next day, and he just consulted with his minister about this whole matter. It's not right for us to give over the kingdom to others in the next life. Let's go on the stake ourselves, and we will reborn as king and minister again. So they both consulted with each other that we should not leave our place. We should not abandon this place. We need this place in future, as well as in the next life as well as. So just get ourselves to be hanged on the stake, and in the rebirth time we will be have the same, and we will be dominating on the same place as we are dominating right now in this kingdom. Holy man, do not tell lies, he said, and the minister again. And the king told that the holy man, the same type of person, the priest type of person, a person who believe in the God, a person who every time a devotee or who always devote himself in the name of God. Such type of person never lie, he said to his minister. So he told the executions we will send the criminal tonight. So what they said to the executioners, those whose work is to hang the people on the stake. We will send the criminals tonight. They called them and told them that we will send the criminals tonight. As we have told that tomorrow morning we will give the punishment, but now in the night time we will give the punishment. We have changed our mind, and the criminal should be hanged tonight. When the first man comes to you, put him to the death first, then to the second man. Those are my orders. Don't make any mistakes. So now the order was given to the person whose duty was to hang the people on the stake. So first a person will become, and you have to hang him, and the second after you have to do the same process. Don't do any mistake. The night the king and his minister went secretly to the prison, released the guru and the disciple. And what happened? They free They made free the Guru and the disciple and get up their attire and went to the place where everything is going to be constructed or everything is ready to be hanged. Disguised themselves as the two, they just changed themselves in the getup as arranged beforehand with loyal servants were taken to the stake and promptly executed. And now, by the loyal army people, by the close people of king and the ministers, they had taken these two criminals who were in the getup of saint, the Guru and as well as the Guru as well as the disciple. They were taken to the place and promptly executed, and now finally they were killed. They were just hanged, and suddenly they were hanged to the stake, and now they got died. Who? The king as well as his minister, who were so lustful to be get rebirth and reborn as a king or as a minister. When the bodies were taken down to the throne, to crow and vultures, vultures means gid or cheek, when the people panicked. What happened when the body was taken outside from the stake and put it at the place where the crows and the vultures can take out their meat and eat it? When people saw it, their body, they got so panicked. They saw before them to the dead bodies of the king and the minister. The city was in confusion. They found that these were the not disciple and the Guru. These were the bodies of the king and the minister, and the whole city was so confused. The whole citizens of the kingdom were so confused what they should do next. All night they mourned and discussed the future of the kingdom. Mourn means a kind of a consolation, a kind of a condolence they were showing. They were sympathy, they were having a sympathy towards the king, and they were discussing about that who is going to be their next king. Some people suddenly thought of the Guru and the disciple and caught up with them. They were preparing to leave town unnoticed. And some people thought that I think the Guru and the disciple would be the nice person for this work as a role of king and the minister, because they are so mature, they are so trained, they are so wise, and so they are totally perfect for the job of king as well as minister. And these two people, the Guru and the disciple, were trying to leave the place. They were preparing all their stuffs, packed them, and want to leave the place very hidingly. We people need a king and a minister, said someone. Others agreed. They begged the Guru, they requested the Guru and the disciple to be their king and the minister. And now they requested the Guru and the disciple just be their king as well as minister. It didn't take many arguments to pursue the disciple. Actually, it didn't take too much time to convince the disciple to be their minister. But it took longer to pursue the Guru. But the Guru took a long period of time to be convinced, to be agreed as a work as a king of their kingdom. They finally agreed to the rule the kingdom of the foolish king and the silly minister on the condition that they could change all the old laws. So in one conditions they agreed to be their king and minister, that they had to change all the laws, whatever the laws were made by the previous king, they had to change now all the laws, all the things from then on. And after that, when they become king as well as the minister, night would again be night and day would again be day, and you could get nothing for a dudu. And in a rupees, in a one dudu, you are not going to get anything else. It became like any other place, and this kingdom has become like other place of the world. Now here the question answer of the chapter. What are the two strange things the Guru and his disciples find in the kingdom of fools? The two strange things were found by the guru and the disciple that first the night was not considered as a night. In the night time, everybody were ordered to work. In the daytime, everybody were ordered to sleep. And second thing is the prices are so equal. Even the rice, wheat, and ghee are in one dudu. So these are the two strange things were observed by the guru and his disciple in this kingdom. Why does the disciple decide to stay in the kingdom of fools? Is it a good idea? The reason to stay in this kingdom, due to that he was so attempted towards the food, the grocery, which was so cheaper as compared to the other places where he had visited. So this cheapness of the stuff, the grocery, had tempted him to stay here for a long period of time, and this was not a good idea because the foolish are so dangerous, and only a wise person can handle them. So now, without any mistake, without any reason, he can be caught in some problem, he can be thrown in some problem. So that's why it is not a good idea to stay in this place. Name all the peoples who are tried in the king's court and gave the reason for the trial. Now here there were many persons who were appeared in the trial in the king's court. Tried means you have seen the trial court. Trial court means where the accused person has to visit on a particular date again and again. It is known as trial, where the judge heard all the evidence, and after that, after checking, after discovering all the evidence, now he came to his final judgment. So trial is a where the person has to declare, the person has to speak about his innocence. So there were many people who came. First the merchant, and then the bricklayer, after that a dance lady, and after that the goldsmith, and give the reasons for their trial. As the bricklayer came just because of he made this wall so poor, so weak, and the lady, the dancing lady, was called for the trial just because of he was distracting by his anklets jingling, and the goldsmith was called just because of the he was making excuses, and that's why the girl had to round many rounds at the same day. So, and the goldsmith was taken to the court just because of this was the merchant order whose wedding was going to be held, and he was so busy, and that's why he was compelled to make excuses to this lady. Who is the real culprit according to the king? Why does he escape punishment? According to the king, the real culprit is the merchant himself, whose wall was broken into pieces and taken the life of a burglar, and he was escaped from this trial just because of he escaped from this punishment because he was so thin, and the skate was not adjustable on his neck, and that's why he was got free by the king. What are the guru words of the wisdom? What are the guru's words of wisdom? When does the disciple remember them? And the guru words of wisdom were when the disciple was taken to the stake for the executions, as he was so overfat, because there was a requirement of the fatty person, and that time he was taken. In that period of time he was remembering the words of his guru and praying to save his life. And he remembered that my guru used to said me that this place of foolish people is so harmful, so dangerous, and it can become a very panic situation if a person live in this area of idiots. How does the guru manage to save the disciple life? The guru was so wise person, and he was requesting or demanding to hang him first on the skate of, I say, for the executions. just because of there is a reason. And the king was so impatient to hear that why he is so excited to get die. Then he told that he just made a fake story, that if a person, this stake is not a stake, it's a stake of God for justice. And if somebody will die by this stake, he will reborn as a king at the same place. And the second one will get a minister, who is going to get on the stake second time. And the both king and the minister were so excited to become their king, to become in the next life same king and ministers. So they do not want to leave this place in the hand of somebody else, so they want this place in their hands in the next birth, in the next life. So they hang themselves, and that was the end. And this was the way that the guru was successfully managed to save his disciple life. So this is all about the question answer of the chapter. I hope you have understood this chapter very well, and it's so interesting, so laughable chapter. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you to be with me, and thanks for your sports.